Is this working?
Yeah, Mr. Sustin, it's working.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
So here we are at Chapter 20, a little bit of information on reduction and oxidation.
Oxidation had originally been thought of as just burning when something combines with oxygen. Right. But it isn't just that. Metals will oxidize, although it's not nearly as interesting to watch as something burning. But it isn't just burning.
Right, and we're actually going to make this process of oxidation of metals dramatic and exciting for you when we do the Rusty Nail Jello lab. And you're going to be able to see, because of an indicator, the process of oxidation of a metal happening. It's a long process, but we're able to see it happen really quickly with the indicator. So just a little heads up as to what we're going to be doing in lab here.
But oxidation also happens in your laundry machine. You get a bad stain from some salsa, some spaghetti sauce, or grass or whatever, and you need the power of oxy magic to get in there and perform some oxidation reactions and release those stains from the fabric. And it'll certainly also happen in the kitchen when you slice an apple or bite into an apple, and after a while it starts to turn brown. That's oxidation. A little bit of lemon juice dissolves those products of oxidation, keeps the apples nice and white.
You know where else that happens? It's really, really delicious.
No.
Guacamole.
Holy is.
Well, when we talk about oxidation here in chemistry class, we're going to define it as what happens when something loses electrons. So remember, when something is losing an electron, we're taking away something with a negative charge. And then on the opposite side of that, we also have reduction, which is the gaining of those electrons. So we're adding a negative charged electron to whatever we have.
And it is very important to remember that these two processes
happen simultaneously.
That was a very, very nice example of simultaneously. They happen at the same time. If one atom is losing electrons, those electrons have to go somewhere. And they're going to another atom that wants to gain valence electrons. Here we have the mnemonics.
Mnemonic devices, yes. You guys have been using mnemonic devices for a long time. You guys remember the metric conversions with the King Henry's dad or King Kitten's hide down, wherever. You also studied the Great Lakes, and you had a mnemonic device for remembering the names of the Great Lakes, right, Holmes. Soon enough, you guys are going to have to memorize the 7 diatomic elements from the periodic table: hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. And here's a little mnemonic device to remember those. How nice our friend Claire Brewster is.
And that's a better way to remember that than the maybe Professor Hofbernickel. Yeah. He's just kind of confusing compared to our friend Claire.
Yes. My high school chemistry teacher, when he was teaching me a mnemonic device on how to remember the difference between oxidation and reduction, taught me Leo the lion says grrr. Leo is losing electrons is oxidation. That's the Leo part. And the grrr part is gaining electrons is reduction. Leo says grrr.
Okay, and that's how my high school chemistry teacher taught me to remember this as well. But Mr. Sustin and I are just a little bit older, than Miss Rashar here, and she learned it this way.
I learned it as oil rig, where oxidation is loss and reduction is gain. And now remember, even though it's the word reduction, I am gaining an electron. So I'm reducing the charge of whatever I have by 1 electron, 1 negative charge.
Right, and keeping in mind that those electrons are negative helps that phrase, which maybe doesn't make sense, reduction is gain, hopefully is a little clearer and easier to understand.
But we'll get to that in the next slideshow, where we're actually illustrating the transfer of electrons either being oxidized or being reduced, lost, and gained.
Okay, thank you for watching. Make sure you fill out the homework that we have with this video and respond to us via Moodle. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next podcast.